moments with God.
Loyal to God or to men? Acts chapter 5 verse 29 says, "We ought to obey God rather than men." Daniel and his companions had a conscience void of offense toward God, but this is not preserved without a struggle. What a test was brought on the three associates of Daniel when they were required to worship the great image set up by the king Nebuchadnezzar in the plains of Dura. Their principles forbade them to pay homage to the idol, for it was a rival to the God of heaven. They knew that they owed to God every faculty they possessed, and while their hearts were full of generous sympathy towards all men, they had a lofty aspiration to prove themselves entirely loyal to their God. The king declared to the three Hebrew youth, "If you fall down and worship the image which I have made, well, but if you worship not, ye shall be cast that same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands?" The youth said to the king, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up." Daniel chapter 3, verses 15 through 19. Those faithful youth were cast into the fire, but God manifested his power for the deliverance of his servants. One like unto the Son of God walked with them in the midst of the flame, and when they were brought forth, not even the smell of fire had passed on them. Thus these youth, imbued with the Holy Spirit, declared to the whole nation their faith, that he whom they worshipped was the only true and living God. This demonstration of their own faith was the most eloquent presentation of their principles. In order to impress idolaters with the power and greatness of the living God, his servant must reveal their own reverence for God. They must make it manifest that he is the only object of their honor and worship, and that no consideration, not even the preservation of life itself, can induce them to make the least concession to idolatry. These lessons have a direct and vital bearing upon our great experience in these last days. This reading was taken from the book In Heavenly Places, Loyal to God or to Men. The apostle said, "We ought to obey God rather than men." We have a great and well-known example for everyone that is documented in the Bible. It is the example of the young Hebrew boys standing before that statue that Nebuchadnezzar had lifted in the valley of Dura. The order was to bow. The order was to worship that statue. But these young men had correct principles. They knew that the law of God did not allow you to bow down. They knew the law, and they did not bow. How many young people are there that bow down to the image that the world has lifted? How many adults are there that are bowing before the world for an increase of money, to have more fame, and to have more riches? The world offers everything to man. Satan looks for those who want to be faithful to God. He offers them the fame, the riches, and comfort. So who will you serve? Will it be God or men? We have to have the faith and security of these young Hebrew men. They responded, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace." We have the security that God will deliver us, and if he chooses not to deliver us, then we must still serve and obey him. Because we have the security that if we are faithful in the time of trials, then Jesus himself will come to our aid and will walk with us among the flames. What a blessed hope! What an encouraging response from God's side. He will not see your problem from afar off. He will be there with you in the fiery furnace. Let us be faithful to God. God pays best. It is God who gives the best recompense. The world may offer everything, but the things of the world are passing, while what God gives us is eternal and remains forever. Visit www.biblewell.com.